Not only Judge Thomas, but some of the others were men who had careers, and they could have sent people who were in lesser professions. They could have sent young teenagers, but they put their own lives, their own livelihoods, their own families, their own reputations on the line in order to integrate the beach. So they went to the beach, wound up, I believe, getting arrested and whatnot, because the beaches at that time were designated white only. And wound up, because of that, the city of Miami ultimately designated a beach, which was Virginia Key Beach, for African Americans. I grew up at St. John Baptist Church in Overtown. And when I was a child, my then pastor, Reverend Thetford Johnson, who was an uneducated man but did not let that limit him, decided that St. John needed to have a continued influence in the city of Miami. And so our church created a fellowship hall, which was then known as Johnson Hall. And on Saturday mornings, our pastor would invite local officials, the mayor and the persons who sat on the city council and all sorts of what we now call influencers, into that room every Saturday morning. Mayor Xavier Suarez from that time and whatnot, all of those people would come to St. John on a Saturday morning. And in so doing, they were able to identify Ms. Range as becoming the first African American to sit on the City of Miami Commission, and to get respect for the African American community and our vote. And so even though, again, we were coming out of segregation, here was a local pastor. He was not from here, he was from the country. He came, from a country town to Miami, and yet he took advantage of that opportunity to gain influence, not only for himself, but for African Americans, and to make our community a better place. Since I have been a child, I was born in 1965, Overtown has been pretty much what we see now. It did not have a lot of businesses because the I-95 had come through and had separated Overtown, had taken away a lot of the single-family homes, had an impact on Booker T. Washington Senior High School. And so my experience, even though I'm more culturally aware than a lot of African Americans as it relates to Overtown, I would not have known that there was ever anything to Overtown other than what we see today. And so hearing the legacy, hearing the story of Judge Thomas, and realizing that no, African Americans, Judge Thomas had his own office, beautiful building which is still standing. He had his own law office, and next to my church, Dr. Smith had his own medical practice, and in Overtown there was a hospital. African Americans had our own hospital, Christian Hospital, a few blocks from my church. But people even my age, even people in their 50s, would not know that unless someone told them. And so it's important for us to get that message out so that children who are growing up in Overtown now, or other African Americans throughout our community, will realize that we have done wonderful things and that we're capable of doing wonderful things, even though now, we're living in suburbs, and some of us living outside of Dade County.